Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, to a brand new stream. It is indeed your Kenyan boy BHE Frankenstein back again with another how-to video. This time I'm going to be showing you how to use your Xbox One controller on your PlayStation 4. This can be your Xbox Series S, Series X controller, Elite Series 1, Elite Series 2. Basically, I'm going to be showing you how to use any type of controller on the PlayStation 4. But I'm mostly going to be focusing on the wired controllers, so that's what we're going to be looking at. And we'll be using this device here called the Biggie One R90 that we're going to be using to connect our controller to the PlayStation 4. And we're going to use the controller on the PlayStation 4, and we're going to see how it performs, and we're going to see whether there's any input delay whatsoever. So stick around and find out how the progress goes. So right now the PS4 is on. I'm connected to the PlayStation 4 via remote play, so I'm going to just share my desktop so you can see that the PlayStation 4 is on and I'm connected via remote play, so there's nothing happening. But let me set remote play to full screen. So I think that's as big as OBS can capture remote play. So I'm going to press my PlayStation button, and you can see it's asking who is logged in. So I'm currently logged in via remote play, so you can see I'm able to move around. This is the official Sony PlayStation 4 controller. You can see I'm moving up on the home screen, and I'm doing everything with the PlayStation 4 controller without any input delay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this controller off, and we're going to use the Biggie One R90 converter and use the Xbox controller. So what you want to do to turn off your controller, just long press the power button and then go to go to the top where it says sound and devices, and at the bottom where it says turn off device, you'll just press turn off device, and then this is the DualShock 4 that we're going to be turning off. So I press X on it, and you see now the controller is off. Nothing's happening. It's not moving. Even if I try to move the analogs, nothing's happening. So I put the controller aside, and I get my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller that I want to use on my PlayStation 4. This controller does not have PlayStation 4 support, not at all. Even via Bluetooth the controller will not work. So what we are going to use is this Biggie One R90 adapter. So you get one end of the Biggie One R90 adapter and plug it into your USB cable like this, as you can see me doing. Now you see it has gone directly from the Biggie One adapter right to my USB cable. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug now this cable right directly to my PlayStation 4. You can see my PlayStation 4 is right here. I'm going to plug in on the USB cable of the PlayStation 4, and you can see the red light on the Biggie One adapter indicates that it is on. And now I'm going to plug it into my Xbox controller. So here's my Xbox controller. I'm going to plug in my USB Type-C cable. The controller has vibrated, and as you can see, chat, the light on the Xbox controller is on, meaning that our Xbox controller is now paired with the PS4 via USB cable. And if I press the Xbox home button, you can see it's automatically detected our controller. And if I use the directional buttons, you can see it's actually working with a 0 input delay whatsoever. So I'll log into my main account, and if I press A to select, it automatically selects the controller, and then you have your paddles at the back, your 4 paddles at the back that you can remap. You can see this is the controller, so it's working. So you can see I'm pressing a button, so I can go back with B button. You can see I can move with the analog, and there is no input delay whatsoever, chat. Not a single essence of input delay, and all the buttons are working. You can indeed check that out. I don't know if there's an application to test if all the buttons are working. If I press the share button, it brings that, and if I press the this is actually the share button. The one I've pressed is actually the share button. So when I press it, it actually works straight out of the box. So in the morning when I tried to use this adapter on the other Xbox controller that I had, which is also an Xbox Elite controller, the reason why it didn't work straight out of the box with that controller is because that is a third-party Xbox controller. It's not an official Xbox controller like this. In the packaging, they've clearly stated it does not work with third-party controllers. So if you're getting a controller, make sure it's an official controller from the official seller, Nintendo, Sony, and I don't know if there are other companies that sell controllers. I just know Nintendo and Sony, because on the quotation here, like I showed you last time, if on the piece of paper that we got, or the should I call it a pamphlet in layman language, so I call it a pamphlet. When we do open the pamphlet, you can see it says Nintendo Switch, DualSense, that is the PlayStation 5 controller, the DualShock 4 for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox Series S and X controllers are both supported, and the Elite Series 1 and 2. So there you can see the full documentation. So let me open my browser and just go to the search history. So I'm just going to scroll down. So I've gotten the documentation of what we need. So Jacob, welcome to the stream. Thank you for tuning in. The device is actually here. It is actually working. This is an Xbox controller. So you can see I'm connected to the PlayStation 4 via remote play, and you can see when I move, I'm actually able to navigate with my Xbox controller on a PlayStation 4, and I still have my 4 paddles at the back. I still have my 4 paddles at the back that I can remap for any functionality, and you can see I'm using the controller with no input delay whatsoever. This device is very great. So the reason why it didn't work with my first controller that I had, my Elite controller from Power A, is because that is a third-party controller developed by Power A to work on the Xbox. It's not developed by Xbox themselves. So when we go to the documentation here, so download a PDF file of how it is, and we just wait for it to load, and then we zoom in to max 500%. So when you come to the documentation, these are the supported devices. You can see PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo Switch Lite, and it works on PC, that is Windows 10. But you don't need the biggie one to connect this to PC, as Microsoft and Xbox, just one thing, it will work on PC by default. So here's the full checklist of the devices that are supported. So you have your DualSense, that is the PlayStation 5 controller right here. That is your DualSense, and then you have your DualShock, that is the PlayStation 4 controller DualShock, and you have your Nintendo Switch Pro controller is also supported, and then you have your Xbox Series S and X controllers are supported, and then you have your Xbox Elite Series 1 and 2 controllers that are both supported. So I went ahead and got myself the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. That's what I'm going to be using as my main and primary controller on my PlayStation 4. I think I'll just be using my PlayStation 4 to play fighting games, but I'll be using this one for shooting games like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Fortnite. Those are the games that I'll primarily be using this one for, but generally I'll just test it out with all the games on the PlayStation 4. And we could go quickly and get into a game of Apex and test out the paddles and remap them and see if they'll actually work for us. So let us go ahead and boot up Apex Legends. So I'm going to quickly start up Apex Legends. Jacob, you're saying Ukona mkono bigi. My hands are very big, and the Xbox controllers are just the perfect fit. Unlike the small PlayStation 4 form factor controller, you can clearly see that the difference in size between the Elite Series 2 and the PlayStation 4. Like, the size is very big. There's a very big difference. And also I like this the Xbox controllers more than the PlayStation ones because of the big analog sticks. I like pad controllers with large analog sticks. I mean, not analog sticks, sorry, the L2 and R2, the triggers. But I'm not going to be using the triggers because I'm going to be using the paddles at the back of the controller. So once you look at your controller, you have your Xbox button in the middle. That's like your PlayStation button in this case. And then you have your share button. When I press it, you can see the share menu pops up, and then we have the other button for checking your systems and everything. So it's telling me unable to connect, so I'll try again. It's saying unable to connect because I've connected the PlayStation 4 via Wi-Fi. I've not connected it via the LAN cable as usual. So there we go. It has put us into a game of Apex. So we are quickly going to go to the firing range and test out the paddles, and then that's going to be the conclusion of the video. I can see that there is no input delay whatsoever when using the controller. I can see some slight input delay, but that's because I'm on PlayStation 4 remote play. But I tested it out of remote play and the controller has no input delay whatsoever when using the Biggie One R90 adapter. I got it on Amazon for $26. There are other adapters that I saw people were using. There's the Wingman converter, but mine is the Biggie One R90. I got the wireless. I got the wired one. The R90 is the wired one, and then they also have the wireless one, which is the R100. If you intend to use wireless controllers on your PlayStation 4, that is like the PlayStation 5 controller and the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. They all work. So it only has firmware support for PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch Lite, and PlayStation 5. So if you're trying to connect a controller that is PlayStation 3 and below, it doesn't work, but it does work with a third-party PlayStation 3 controller like you saw I used in the morning, and the controller did work fine, but the buttons on the controller were just not too good to be pressed. I tried using that controller and it was just hectic. I got into a game of Apex with the controller, but it was not as user-friendly of an experience as it is with this Xbox Elite controller. So after this, I'm just going to be streaming some Apex on my PlayStation 4. So if you want to chill with me over there on Twitch, just go over to twitch.tv/VHE_Frankenstein and we can get some Apex content on the way. So you can see I'm running. The input delay is because of the PlayStation 4 remote play. So you can see that this is You can see the Xbox controller. You can see even the analog design is different, one up, one at the bottom. So you can see I'm pressing my trigger, it's aiming. So we're aiming with it. We can punch with it. So let me remap the paddles and stop using the triggers. You can see right now I'm pressing the triggers, but now I want to remap the paddles. So I want to press this remap button, and then I want to press my R2 key, and then I want to press it here. So let me see if it's going to work. So let me see if I can get it working. So I think I'll just take some time to configure the paddles, but other than that, everything works. The controller is working well on my PlayStation 4. Everything looks so nice, everything looks so crisp, it looks so smooth. I'll actually just go and configure the paddles off stream, but that has been how to set up your Xbox controller on your PlayStation 4. Remember, it has to be an official Xbox controller or else it will not work. The Big One R90 does not support third-party controllers for Xbox. Even third-party controllers for PlayStation 4 will not work. So just have that in mind when you're going for it, unless you just want to go for the Big One R90 that works with the Bluetooth controllers. You can see you can just sync your controller via Bluetooth to the PC. You can see I'm wiggling about. Everything is working fine. Apex Legends with an Xbox controller on the PlayStation 4. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope those who have tuned in have learned something, a new skill, a new technique, how to use an Xbox controller on the PlayStation 4. That is an Xbox One controller. The one I have with me is the Elite Series 2 controller, and I'm actually enjoying the feel of the controller and how the controller generally, just the touch, even the matte black finish. I've just enjoyed everything about this controller, and that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you had fun, and if you enjoy this type of videos, don't forget to drop a sub on the channel, as it does really help out. And that being said, it has been your Kenyan boy BHE Frankenstein, keeping it locked with the how-to video for the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller, and I will catch you all in the next one, and peace out.